Good morning, everybody. It's June the 30th, I think, and it's quite a chilly morning where I live here in Australia today. So we finally had a small breakthrough. It's only small, but it's a breakthrough. So I don't know if I'm at a good angle here. I don't know. All right. So as you may remember in the last video, I had a disaster appointment with my neurologist after having a disaster appointment with the GP I was seeing at the time. And it just left me with a lot of emotions. And even after I saw the neurologist, I don't know, just he didn't want to commit to anything I wanted to ask, And I actually walked away thinking, did I get it wrong? Did I misunderstand what they told me when they were standing by my bedside when I got diagnosed? Am I not going to eventually die from this? Am I overreacting? And I really had a lot of self-doubt. And I tell you what, I haven't told very many people that I have CAA, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm glad I haven't told people, because I'm going to look like an idiot when I haven't actually got it. But recently I made friends with a lovely lady who lives in Canada, and her name's Sharon. And she actually is such a brave person. She's actually written a book. She was so misdiagnosed in the beginning of her journey, but she kept fighting through and pushing through to get information. And she just inspired me, and then I decided that I wasn't just going to sit there and just kind of give up. I wanted to know this information, and not just some more information about CAA, but to me, I've been showing some signs that maybe, I'm heading towards vascular dementia. And, and I thought I have to keep going, because the only way I cope and get through things is by knowing every detail. So I thought about it, and I thought back in between 2014 to 2018, before I was diagnosed, but I was showing all the symptoms of CAA. Do you want to get on the screen, do you? That's Safi. And I've got Lily down here between my legs. All right, so back in between 2014 and 2018, I was showing the symptoms, not diagnosed, but I had this great neurologist in another hospital, not near where I live. And it just turns out I'd had a seizure, and they took me to that hospital. So that's how I got to know him. And he was amazing, and he tested me for this, that, and everything else, and really just tried very hard to find a name for what I had. And I saw him, maybe twice a month, and if not more. I'm really sorry for these dogs, but if I have them outside, they knock on my window. Shush! Let me just pause this. I think she wants me to open the door. What do you want, Saf? Okay. Do you? Just 1 minute. Okay, sorry about that. Got to look after the babies first. But he was an excellent neurologist, and I could talk to him, and I felt that at the time he was really keeping up with all the information that I needed to get. Anyway, so back to my story. I decided two things. I was not going back again to the GP that recently made me feel like useless. Anyway, was not interested. Same clinic, but I went again back to a GP that I'd had for 30 odd years in the same place. And the only reason I moved to another GP was that she was so popular, the first doctor, that you couldn't wake up sick and get an appointment. You had to book ahead, and she was so popular. So I made an appointment to see her, and I needed to do two things. I needed to make the appointment to see the GP, and when I went to her, I was going to ask for a referral to be referred back to the original neurologist from 2014 to 2018. I also had some paperwork I wanted filled out that I couldn't seem to get anyone to want to fill out. So that's what I did. And we went to see the GP, and she was as lovely as ever. And where it was supposed to be I think it's a 15-minute appointment, we were there for an hour. And at one stage, she shifted us into a room next door and saw a patient and then come and got us and brought us back. I should have actually booked a double appointment, but I just wasn't thinking about it. I was so happy to get an early appointment with her. She went through a lot of things with me. She didn't know what CAA was. She didn't have much good stuff to say about the young neurologist that I'd seen a couple of weeks ago. In fact, she said that she hadn't had very good reports from him. Basically asked me why I even went to him in the first place, but that was just coincidental. I got taken by ambulance to that hospital, and he signed my discharge papers. And so if I, it's kind of like, well, who do I try to get a referral to? He knows, well, you know how it goes, right? Anyway, and she said that even she believes that my previous neurologist, Dr. Janice, was a far better neurologist. So she did a referral, and how they work here, I don't know how they work anywhere else, but they basically get triaged. Now, obviously, my case is not an urgent case, but she did write a bit that I had been a previous patient and recently diagnosed with CAA. So anyway, that went in a week ago. So we will just wait, and I'll ring today just to make sure they got it. If it looks like they're shifting me, if I don't get any kind of feedback and I don't get a quick response, I will actually write to him and just see whether I can speed up that, because these are symptoms that I have, or changes as I call them, that I've experienced over the last year that lead me to think maybe it's vascular dementia related. I've heard that some other people have actually been given an explanation for these changes, such as you've had a bleed on the blah, blah, blah part of your brain, and that creates this. And I'd like to know that. I would like to know that. I think that's important, and you should know everything about what's happening to you. They shouldn't be scared to tell you. If you're asking the questions, they should tell you, right? Right. Okay, so that was great. She did the referral. She sent that off. And then we got to I need these papers signed out. Now, the papers are papers that state what health issues I have. It has to be signed by a medical practitioner. She was number 3. She filled them out, no problems. Absolutely no problems. And I was so relieved, because honestly, I don't know where I would have gone if she'd said, no, I'm not doing that, or I don't know anything about it. It was really straightforward anyway. And so I was very happy. So I'm a very happy little girl right now. And as you can probably tell by the way I'm talking, I'm just a bit more, everything was building up. So I could just relax for a little while and see where we go from here. Now, I thought I'd also ask you this question. And I actually wrote down a note where I'd put it. All right, so here's one of the questions that was on the paperwork. So I'll tell you what the paperwork actually was for. Because my husband, I never go anywhere without my husband. Should have a tissue here somewhere. And not because he just happens to be there, but I find, because I also have depression and anxiety, and my anxiety does not allow me to go anywhere without my husband. Part of that is I'm scared of having an episode or seizure. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, when you sometimes think of seizures, if you've got CAA, you probably know what I'm talking about if I say an episode. And when I used to say seizure, people picture somebody who's having an epileptic fit where they fall to the floor and that kind of seizure. So that's why I call them more episodes, because at the moment, mine are few and far between, and nobody would even know if I didn't draw attention. I could sit there, I bet you I could sit there in a crowded room and nobody would really know if they were not talking to me, if they were just sitting in the room. So, oh yes, I've lost my train of thought for a minute. So I don't go out mainly because of that. I never go out without him. In 3 years since I was diagnosed, and it's been 3 years this month that I was diagnosed, I've had symptoms since 2014. I suffer. Oh, now I've really lost my train of thought. This is the worst part of having CAA, isn't it? It's like if you just go off track. Let me just pause and let me work out what I was going to say to you, because I don't want you sitting there hearing me go, All right, we'll be back in a second. I was lucky I remember where I was going with my story. Okay, so in the last 3 years since I was diagnosed, I have been out of the house without my husband, and I'm not talking about the times I've had to stay in hospital, but to be taken somewhere by somebody else, I think is 3 or 4 times. And each time was my youngest son, who's 34, something like that. And it was like Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day, 3 Mother's Days. And for Christmas, my son, who's a rapper, by the way, took me to a Barbara Streisand. It was Barbara Streisand's birthday, and there was a show. I don't know how to explain it. So, you know, when a tribute, it was a Barbara Streisand tribute with some really well-known around the circuit singers, and they were singing all her songs. That was hard. It's not as hard as it was for my son to sit there and listen to those songs, but he did it. All right, back to my story. So 4 times in 3 years I've been out without my husband, and even that's not easy to do. So I suffer extreme anxiety. I don't like going on road trips really because of all the things that might happen, all the cars that might hit us, all the crashes we might have, all the kangaroos we might hit. It gets out of control. So he goes everywhere. I go everywhere with him. He goes everywhere with me. I don't go everywhere with him as far as he doesn't go out by himself. But he also, because I fall over in the shower a lot, I stumble all the time. I'm just off balance all the time. So when I have a shower, as soon as I shut my eyes to do my hair, I just, and And so my husband actually comes in the shower. He brings his mobile. He sits here playing games while I have a shower just to make sure I'm safe. He even removed the glass cubicle around the shower. And our shower is now Thai style, where because it's all tiled, the floor's all tiled. So obviously without a cubicle around, water does go on the floor, but it's tiled, so it's waterproof. But he was concerned that if I fell and I smashed through the glass cubicle, that's a lot more scary than water getting on the floor. So he goes, he's my carer. In every way, he's my carer. And we were recently advised that there is an allowance from the government for a carer. And we're both on the old age pension now. And so I decided, well, it's there to have. I'm not swindling anybody. I'm going to apply, or he's going to apply, but, we're going to apply for a carer's allowance. But, of course, that then meant we have to fill out the forms. Now, where I was going with my question is on the form, one of the questions was, I don't think I need my glasses. Do I have any of the following? No, is my condition one of the following? So terminal, which is I will live more than 3 months. Terminal, I will live less than 3 months. Permanent, my condition is likely to improve. Or permanent, my condition is not likely to improve. Now, out of those questions, what would you have answered? With all you know, and I mean, so many people are at so many different stages of this disease that even though you might have something I've got, I might have something she's got, I bet none of us are the same and at that certain stage, and maybe we will never be the same as we move along. But I'm interested to know what's your take on that? I mean, what did you think? What would you have written? Now because when we were in the other room, she just asked us to just write down, answer some of these questions, and it was like, do you need, when it comes to your bowels, do you need help? Are you continent, incontinent? Stuff like that. And she just said, just answer those things. So we weren't answering anything mind-boggling and she checked it all over. Now, I got myself a new email account yesterday, and it's the address for my email account is all one word, lowercase, and this is for you if you want to ask me any questions, because what I'm finding with the videos is I'm missing, I don't seem to see all of the comments, and I just thought it might be easier to flick me an email if it was something, not just for a comment, but if you had a question. And some of the people watching my YouTube channels, like, I really feel for, because some of them are carers, some of them just been diagnosed, and I think even myself and my new friend Sharon in Canada, I think we're getting something from being able to chat to somebody who, even though not completely alike, we've got similar, and it's just nice to chat to someone. My email address, so lowercase, my C.A.A Journey, my C.A.A Journey That's mycaAJourney@gmail.com. So if you want to flick me, you can put your answers in a comment. Please don't take it the wrong way if you don't get an answer. But I mean, some of these I found last night are like a year old, and I've not seen them before. But as I've said a couple of times, I'm not up with the comment thing, so this might be an easier way. So yeah, which of those would you have said yours was? Now, some of you may be long advanced into this disease. You might have, or your person you care for might have vascular dementia. So maybe a little easier at a late stage, late, and some people are already really cognitively impaired. I mean, really, really bad. And some are like me that been diagnosed. Nothing major, knock on wood, has happened to me as far as brain hemorrhages. I mean, mine are all small. When it happens to me so far, it's been small. But if you want to answer that question, because we actually we tipped terminal will live for more than 3 months. Because even on Google, they say that depending on your age as well, I think, because if you're only in your 50s and you get it, you might live 20 years. So, but at the end of the day, CAA, as far as I read, and the impression we got when we were diagnosed, is that it's fatal. So to me, fatal is terminal. But then again, life is terminal, isn't it? Someone said to me, your life starts ticking the minute you come out of the womb. And it's true. And it is true. My GP, when she checked it over, she said, oh, no, you're not terminal, but you're permanent. So she put permanent condition, not likely to improve. But I think some of the questions on this questionnaire, not all those answers covered it. Because, okay, if I'm permanent, my condition's not likely to improve. However, my condition is likely to deteriorate. And it might not take a long time for it to deteriorate. So there's not a lot of movement. So maybe that's something, if someone from Centrelink, which is our social security, if they ring me, maybe I can talk to them a bit more. Because there was a lot of questions that there wasn't the right answer. So anyway, we'll have to go wait and see on that. Now that's all that I've got to say about this at the moment. I just want to say something. A big shout out to Sharon in Canada. You are amazing. You are inspirational. I can't believe all the shit that you've gone through with misdiagnosis. It's just incredible. What Sharon would like to happen with what she's written is to get it into the hands of medical profession, nurses, social workers, GPs, because so many times she was misdiagnosed. And some of the times, even when she wrote what had happened to her and then said in there what they diagnosed, even me, it's like, you've got to be kidding. Like, you've really got to be kidding. So I think what Sharon's going to do, I think Sharon is going to, when she gets some time and she feels well, is going to put it on YouTube, or I think she's going to read it in different videos and upload it to her YouTube channel that at the moment has got really nothing on it. Because if she does that, what I would like to do is to do a very quick synopsis of it and encourage you then to go over, and I put the link. But that's not happening yet because, time's precious with all of us. So, but if that happens, but I encourage her to do that, because even on her Facebook page, when I went through her Facebook page, she had me choking with laughter. She's got a great sense of humor. And even though it's poignant and what she says is so truthful, but she puts it in little quippy ways. I already love it a bit, so I don't even know. I've only I think, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But she's very inspirational. And because she never gave up, she was finally able, and it took, when you read this story, but it took so much for her to get to the point where she was actually getting the proper diagnosis and getting the help that she needed. I think that's about all for now. I've had a great couple of days. I think it's a long time since I've said it. I want to thank everybody who's subscribed. I know sometimes, maybe always, these are boring. I don't have a lot of medical stuff to share with you yet, thank goodness. Because that's not happening to me yet. What's happening to me is all up here. But I don't want to go there today because I'm in a good, happy mood today. But yeah, thank you for subscribing. Thank you if you watched to the end. That's great. I'm blown away. I said to my husband about 3 days ago, I said, oh my goodness, I've got like 140 subscribers. And he's like, how'd you get them? Because I've banned him. He's not allowed to look at these, because I can say things on here, but I don't want him to see them. I don't want to see him. I don't want him to see me when I cry, or we talk deeply, but I don't think I could talk on screen if I knew that he was looking. He might look, I don't know, but in my head he doesn't. Anyway, so yeah, I said, I've got 140 subscribers. And I went on last night just to see if there's any more messages, comments. And I got like 200 and, what was it? I think it was 228 or 48. Why, you crazy people? Why are you watching? But I'm getting some lovely comments, and some of you guys bearing your heart to me, and just remember, I'm not a doctor. Anything I say, any advice I give, I'm not a doctor, so don't sue me. Don't even listen to me. But yeah. I've got another thing. Hey guys, this is really odd. And I think I even saw in Sharon's book. And when we say book, it's not like 100 chapters. I think there might only be, don't quote me, 4, 5 or 6 chapters. And I think, I'll have to look it up now, but I think I saw her say something about getting boils over her body. But what I've been getting for a long time, and they're not boils, but within my hairline, so from about here, around here, and at the back, like huge pimples, like they'll come up, and then 2 days later they're gone, and then one's here, and then now I wear a cap all the time when I go out. I wear sunglasses and a cap because my pupils don't dilate, and the light just kills me. But that was from when I was 15, my pupils didn't dilate, so no one knows what that was for. And I thought, oh, maybe my head's sweating. So I leave the cap off because I've hardly been out because it's been winter, so I've hardly worn the cap, and they're still happening. And I just wondered, are you experiencing anything like that, which I cannot for 1 second associate with CAA? Are you getting that? What sort of weird stuff's happening to you? You can leave it in the comments below, or you can email me. But please, as I said, don't hate me if I don't get back and answer you. It's not because I didn't like what you had to say. Sometimes big periods I don't go on the computer. I sort of got to feel a bit inspired to go on the computer. And sometimes, I have dull headaches a lot. So yeah, but if you want to wait, I think I might eventually get around to you. Anyway, that's all for today. Sharon is on a couple of the CAA websites on Facebook. I can't think what they're called at the moment. There's 2 of them that I know she's on. But her name's Sharon. No, I'm not going to tell you her last name. No, I won't do that. No, I won't do that because I haven't got permission from her to do that. But I'm hoping that, within a month or a couple of months, maybe there's something up that I can leave a link to, because I think, I cried when I read it, and I really didn't as I said, I've only met her 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I cried and I felt for her and I hurt for her, but I loved it. Do you know what I mean? That sounds a bit horrible, and it's just written from the heart, but I just think it was disgusting, honestly. Even if they didn't know about CAA, some of the things that she presented with, I'll just tell you this. I'm not going to go into detail. She had a really big thing happen to her. They sent her home and told her she had gas. They sent her home with some medication to stop the gas. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to go. All right, I'm going to go because my dogs are out there. And usually the puppy, the brown one, is a puppy. She's like 9 months old. And she's discovered that if she looks through this window from the outside, she can see me. Anyway, take care. All you carers, thank you. You're amazing. We don't say thank you enough, but we do thank you. And you need to know. And also, you guys, I want you to know that, and it took me a while to think about this, because I think in my other videos I've told you that I am surrounded by family that have cancer or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Is it POCD or something? Pulmonary obstruction, whatever. I've got a widow with heavy depression, and I feel like I shouldn't talk about anything because physically you can see that they're in pain or sick, and I feel like, their feelings, they don't need to worry about me. And then I feel guilty because I think when I do say something, I think, I shouldn't say it. But then, what I realized, that at the moment, it's also about me. And I shouldn't feel guilty as I said, I've my immediate sisters and brothers-in-law, I've told. My eldest son's 34, 44. 3 years ago, my daughter told them what CAA was. But I don't know whether we've never discussed it. And I almost feel like, they think she was overreacting, but we don't discuss it. And they don't talk to their sister anymore, so it doesn't get brought up. Anyway. Okay. See you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I've got a couple of ideas because I want to try and do a couple more videos because a bit more often. But as I said, because nothing too much happens. But I definitely will let you know if I hear back from and get an appointment, because I want an appointment. All right. Have a great day. I don't know why my mouse is not working now, so I turn this off here. Okay, bye-bye from Australia. Just quick update. I just got off the phone. I rang the neurology department to see whether they received my referral, and they actually told me I have an appointment July 27th. That's amazing. I'm really happy about that. So I will be going to see Professor Jim Janis, who I wanted to go back to. So, okay, guys, now I'm even more happy.